Tonight on ESGN TV, we break down the weekend. North American LCS began, G-League held their finals between Invictus Gaming and DMK, and Susie Kim shows us around the GSL. All of this and more. Welcome to the Daily News. Hello from Studio One in Babelsberg. Dan Cho reporting in for another day of exciting news in the esports industry. Tonight is Monday, January 20th, and today in 2013, Gamefy Gaming defeated Frost and Blaze at IEM Katowice, two of the best Korean League of Legends teams in the world. Also, today is Martin Luther King Day and is celebrated as a federal holiday for the first time in 1986. So we dive into the League of Legends news to start things. Fans were already enthusiastic about Cloud9's recent acquisition of European team Apples is Sour, but they have not stopped there. Cloud9 announced that they have also acquired most of the Walking Zed squad who are currently playing in Coke Zero Challenger League. Bishu, Corquez, Yazuki, and Outek will now don the Cloud9 banner. Former Walking Zed support player Nidus Hermain left the team after the acquisition and has declared he does not intend on joining another team. Gleebglar Blue will take his place instead. And on the topic of the NA Coke Zero Challenger Series, over the past few days, the play-in brackets have finished and are now set for the round of 8. Notably, Chinese team LMQ dominated throughout all of their games. They will be one of the 5 play-in teams who joined the 3 other teams, Cognitive Gaming, Determined Gaming, and the Walking Zed, who are now C9, who qualified during the promo tournament. Now the quarterfinals will determine who moves one step closer to qualifying for an LCS spot. Only the top 3 teams will move on to Challenger Series number 2. The quarterfinals are set to begin on the 25th of January between Cloud9's new team and Skyline. For more info, they can find it all at na.lolesports.com. Of course, the big magnifying glass this past weekend was held over the first week of the NA LCS Spring Split, which had a super week to kick things off. The top 8 NA teams played their first 4 matches of the season. One of the teams with increasing scrutiny is Cloud9, the team we just mentioned, who have changed the doubters into believers with their performance last year at the World Championships. Back to claim their title as the NA champs, Cloud9 led off the split with a fight against Team Solo Mid, another team gunning for the seat back at the top. Cloud9 would have none of that as they hit the ground running with a 3-0 start.
Going to be in favor of Nien, but High playing it well, and he has the damage to take out Nien almost. More fighting in the mid lane, and it looks like CLG actually can't get out of this one. Balls just kind of keeps them all huddled in together as they try to take him out. The fight continues in favor of Cloud9, and who would have thought that CLG would stick around for this?
Well, that was a classic example of the split push strategy outplaying the team fight AoE CC strategy.
Oh, High going in deep. He tries to use the ultimate, but it hits the back of High, and it looks like Hotshot now will be dove on. Not too much crowd control. Aframu has the stun ready in just a few, but he is holding it even more to help for the rest of the team. Nien is going to be the one to go down. Cloud9. And once again, an amazing game by Cloud9, coming in very strong. A 30-minute game possibly here as they take down the rest of Counterlogic Gaming outside their base. At least the first pick going into the hands of Meteos at 7-0-5 this game. Other teams definitely going to take notice of that. The Nexus is going to fall. Cloud9 stays undefeated in the Spring Split of 2014.
Oh, can they get double too?
Oh dear.
That KDA.
At the beginning, so if they can't get the initial catch on I'm a Cutie Pie, it is almost a failed fight for Cloud9.
Yeah, seems to be the case.
As it comes, maybe Dignitas will just crush him in a fight, or maybe Cloud9 is just going to lose without being able to put up a fight.
A lot of burst on a Sneaky. He's been forced back to heal. Lemon Nation also dangerously low. Pops the ulti. They get some slows onto Scara. The push on in. Can they get the damage they need? High. Getting locked up for the front lines. Cutie Pie untouched here. Taking down Lemon Nation with a rocket. Double kill for him. Meteos now also getting chased. That's going to be another kill picked up now for Dr. Mundo. Only Sneaky is going to be alive alongside Vol. falls. No other kills picked up yet, but Dignitas 19-3, ending the week 2-2 and breaking Cloud9's.
So with wins over TSM, XTG, and CLG, Cloud9 looked great, but then dropped a match against Dignitas, leveling off the record to 3-1. Cloud9 has an easy week 2 with their only game against Curse, who currently sits at 2-2. And while TSM dropped their first match against C9, they still showed a strong performance in this opening week. All eyes were on TSM's new mid laner from Europe, Bjergsen, and how he would fit in with the team. The verdict?
Oopsies.
Pretty damn good.
Oh, they could get Z-Kent. Will he get Timbers off in this one? He turns around. He only gets it off on 2. A great ultimate by Dominate, but is it going to be enough without the follow-up of Curse there? 3 members on to Dominate. A dash over the wall from Bjergsen to safety as Cobb does what he can from the back line, and it's only Quaz to peel for him.
Go for the dive.
The Infinity Edge being finished out. A great solar flare over. TSM loves diving this middle turret. It looks like they will go full on and back behind. 3 kills coming out very fast, and it goes across the board. Dominate looking to get himself out of this situation, but it's a double kill for Wild Turtle as he hunts him down. And it looks like they're going to go straight for the Nexus.
Well, they've loaded up enough armor. They go for the dive right there. Zeke trying to counter-initiate. He gets the stun onto multiple members, but Wild Turtle spell shielded it.
Great game by Team Solo mid. Bjergsen really working the LeBlanc in middle. Everybody else very strong in their lanes, and TSM is going to pick up. High's not taking too much damage. Dyrus may be able to get himself back in this for one more Wither. Oh, the last barrel. What a do-si-do by these guys. Both teams trying to get into the fight and see which was the best angle. Bjergsen able to make it out quick enough. Ace in the hole. Takes down Dyrus, so they again trade 1 for 1, but it's not over, chat. They get the assault battery into the vault breaker down on Bjergsen, and it looks like Cloud9 is always in the right place at the right time right now. The odd one to follow up in mid. Turtle backs off to the fountain to get what he can. Locket of the Iron Solari goes down, but is it enough? The absolute 0 put out for show, and it looks like the Nexus will be the next to fall here. The culling comes out. They are just absolutely taking everything they can away from TSM, and the win.
So after dropping their first set, TSM now owns the league's current hottest streak as they defeated EG, Dignitas, and Curse all in a row. Their next matches will be the classic matchup versus CLG and a date with Coast. The last team bringing up the caboose of the hype train was Evil Geniuses, with Snoopy, Crepo, and Yellow Pete crossing over to the Atlantic to fight for North American money. EG, like Alliance, had high expectations for themselves. With 3 of the original members from the European team, chemistry should not be one of those issues. Unfortunately for EG, though, it hasn't been the smoothest sailing quite yet.
Fight begins. The flash in, Crepo. Oh, you're in a bad spot. Here's a teleport from Mundo, but it's still a 5v4. Doublelift just gets jumped on by Inox. Can he survive this one? Trying to survive. I don't think he's going to. Inox picks up 1, and the fight is going to continue now. CLG forced to run. Hotshot gets hit. Oh, Pobutter picks up a kill. Hotshot's going to go down 4 for 1 to Evil Geniuses. Well, do it. Cocoon lands on a Yellow Pete, but it's a bit outnumbered. CLG's going to go in now for Snoopy, though. Half HP pops the ulti. Afro's still chasing him, but he's in the middle of the enemy team. Ult's not going to hit much of anything. Forced to run away. Pobelter picks up the kill, though. Does not have Evolved Wings. Looks like that was Q there, and now Link forced to run. Devil does not. Arcane Shift very far away, and Inox is barreling down. That is a kill picked up again by Snoopy. Link on the run. Hotshot nowhere to go either. That's going to be another kill picked up by Pobelter. 10-2, and EG just dominating that fight. And Hip going down the jump in from Pobelter. Can he get the damage? There goes 1. It's going to be the rest of the fight coming up. Who's going to go down next? CLG is still on the run, trying to get away from this one. It's just going to be the 1 kill, but now Hotshot trying to run barrier heal. Pobelter forcing his GA, but that is it. Nien in the front line, but this is not going to be nearly enough. Nien falls down. Only 3 members left for CLG. Make that 2. Make that just Aftermoo trying to do whatever he can, and that's just going to be the game. Evil Genius.
So EG does manage to take out CLG, but they finished the Super Week at 1-3 in the bottom of the LCS standings. EG would play Dignitas and rematch XTG in Week 2. Taking a quick glance at the overall record, Cloud9 and TSM are unsurprisingly tied for the first spot. However, EG, like we said, are tied with XTG, struggling in last place. Pretty solid week for the underdog teams like Coast and Curse as they post up a 50% result alongside Dignitas and CLG. Now, LCS NA Spring Split will continue on the 25th of January with Dignitas versus XTG opening up the second week. For all the info, VODs, and recaps, head over to na.lolesports.com. EU LCS will begin again in a couple of days, but in the meantime, the EUW Challenger Series that we've mentioned last week concluded their semis. The finals will be Meet Your Makers facing off against the Fox Squad. So far, both teams showed great performances. TFS remains undefeated the entire tournament, and MYM only lost one game throughout the tournament, and Reason Gaming and Eternity Gaming got 2-0 apiece. The finals will be played on January 23rd, so be sure to catch as much as possible. These may be the future teams fighting their way to the top of the scene. Find it over at challengerseries.eu, which is hosted by Chaos TV. And before we finish up League of Legends for today, we want to remind you that the JCG Premier League Grand Finals are coming up on January 25th, as well as IEM Sao Paulo, happening over a little more than a week from now. After the break, we talk about recent Dota 2 news with G-League and Starladder. We also check in with Susie Kim, who has the scoop on GSL. Also talk about things like Apex, a tournament you all should be watching. The Daily News with Frodan. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Daily News. We're done with League of Legends, so let's move on to Dota 2. RNG Sports, who finished third at TI3, have decided to invigorate their lineup with the addition of 2 new players with CXS and Insidious C, who were stand-ins for the team last week. They replaced TFG and Ling, who have since both left the team. Orange made a nice run in the Malaysia Champions Cup, one of the biggest achievements since the departure of Mushi to DK. You can take a look at their full lineup, as good luck to Orange in the future. Speaking of them, DK had a great weekend with the conclusion of G-League. DK versus IG, hands down 2 of the best teams in the world, play a best of 5 for the championship. Our partner in China, Gamefy, was closely watching in on the event.
Last weekend, the G-League 2013 Grand Finals came to a close in Shanghai. There were a lot of familiar faces in the championships, which shows the players have kept their well-being despite of the upcoming Chinese New Year. On January the 18th, the StarCraft 2 and League of Legends championships brought us some fabulous competitions. Genius players Jim beat MaxEd 3-1, which ensured his leadership in the Chinese SC2 field. Later that day, 2 unexpected LoL teams, WE Academy and Young Glory, fought. Though they are only youth teams from eSports clubs, the younger generation deserve respect because of their ever-growing talent. WE Academy and Young Glory dominated the other well-known teams and both got through to the finals. WE Academy had the last laugh though by defeating Young Glory. The competition on the battlefield of Dota 2 the next day was even more intense, with DK and Invictus Gaming attracting a large audience. Even though these 2 arch-rivals have already fought each other 3 times in recent tournaments, this was going to be a memorable match because the current players in DK and IG have already won the championship in past G-League competitions. To win first place this time means a glorious treble, but unfortunately, Invictus Gaming might have been influenced by the changed roster.
请大家永远支持 DK.
And were defeated 0-3. G-League 2013 ended with the DK players holding the trophy up high.
So there you have it. DK crushes Invictus Gaming 3-0 to avenge their Red Bull loss a couple weeks ago. Mushi pulled off insane plays again and carried his team to victory. This marks DK's 2nd win out of the 3 finals meetings against IG in recent memory, and 3rd overall tournament victory for DK since their roster shakeup after TI3. And the other G-League finals, Jim defeats MaxEd in StarCraft 2, and the WE Academy defeats Young Glory. Since our friends are in China and they're celebrating Chinese New Year's this week, Gamefy and G-League will be on a break. Happy New Year. There are 2 iconic matchups that seem to be a recurring theme in many high-level competitions in Dota 2. One, as you saw, is DK versus IG. The second, Na'Vi versus Alliance. Across the planet, there was yet another rematch of the International 3 Grand Finals for Starladder Season 8. Things started rough for Na'Vi as they lost their upper bracket series against Sigma International 0-2. However, on the next 2 days, Na'Vi climbed back and swept every single series they played.
No points in Vortex yet.
This is a little bit earlier than you would expect.
The smoke breaks already. Can they get off a troll trap? Yes, they can. They could stomp it. I don't think they have the damage. Maybe they do. Perfect chain stun. Dendy hits level 3, and that's it. First blood for Na'Vi. They'll lose the tower first, and now they'll lose EGM as well. Dendy zips forward, takes another. Zip, zap, zoom. He does get stunned, but he's still got Aegis. S4 just can't touch this, says Dendy. Fun at giving chase. On the backside, it's Havos going deep, going hard. He will go down, but it's 4 dead, and more to follow. Make it 5 heroes hitting the deck. Na'Vi are out of control, 12-1. He's got Manta BKB, and now they found Ake. Nowhere to snowball, really. He's just going to try and run. Another RP connects. This one also on 3. And now Bulldog's here. It's 5 here. It's an ambush. But do they actually get enough kills in time? Avo's still alive. Standing strong. The Dazzle Heal doing its magic. And Alliance trade 1 for 1 after what looks like the perfect trap. On the backside goes Funnick. He gets 1. He pays with his life. It is a 2 for 3 in the end. Once more, he'll head to the high ground. S4's found him, though. A beautiful Blink Skewer. But Avos gets off an Eclipse as well as popping his ultimate and does good damage. Now he focuses the range X. S4 comes storming back in. Grabs 2. The Puppy's there. He catches every single hero, aside from EGM, with a huge overgrowth. And now they've lost their mag. They have no RP. They have no Aegis. Dendy still stands, graved and kept alive. Bulldog will fall. He pops the cheese and lives. For now, he lives. Havost is still fighting. Funnick is still fighting. They're diving. They're getting the kills. The Racks have fallen. Na'Vi are doing it. This will be 2 lanes of Racks. This will probably be game with S4 dead, with no RP. They're out of options. They're out of gas. And they're about to lose game 3 and be down 2-1. And in fact, they are. GG!
Na'Vi rolls over Alliance and secures their crown, not dropping a single game from the lower bracket. There was a 1-game advantage for Alliance as the upper bracket C, but it didn't matter. Another season of Starladder over, and now they're champions with over 60,000 in winnings for Na'Vi. Congratulations to them, and thanks Starladder for another fantastic season. Before I move on, take a few notes on the upcoming broadcast for Dota 2. Tomorrow is the NSL semifinals between Zephyr and MVP Hot 6. Susie Kim, who will be appearing in just a couple of minutes, already told me that she plans on reporting in for that. And keep in mind the other events as well, like the CIS Carnage hosted by GoSu Gamers, which will continue their group stage play over the next few days. Their site with full information is at gosugamers.net. In StarCraft 2, this weekend's spotlight feature was the Nation Wars put on by O Gaming TV. This Team League allied fellow countrymen to win their event for their homelands. A fun tournament format, especially for ex-Warcraft 3 players. There were plenty of pleasant surprises, such as Hero Marine's breakout performance for Germany, who placed 4th, and Ike, a relatively unknown Protoss, putting up big wins for the Norwegians. Norway ended up going all the way, as Snoot and Targa carried the team home to defeat the Russians. Happy did some heavy lifting for Russia, but unfortunately came up short twice against the Zerg Ace players. Norway wins $3,000 and, most importantly, the title as the Nation Wars champions of Europe. Congrats to them, and thanks to O Gaming TV for a great time. In addition to Nation Wars, ESL also hosted IEM Cologne Qualifiers. Overall, the tournament had a lot of interesting matches, but one particular storyline stood out. The qualifier might have been one of the most important events for Mana in recent memory. He managed to defeat TLO and Kane before falling to Jokchi. However, in the losers bracket, he managed to be victorious against Nurchio and Tefel, who kicked out Grubby and Stardust before. Here are some of the highlights from his qualifying match.
Through the middle of the map, also putting on some pressure at the 4th base. It looks like he's going to take a straight-up engagement. Really nice storms across a lot of that right-hand flank. The left-hand side also not really doing a whole lot right now for Tefel. Big storms have shredded up a lot of that army. The Vipers really haven't done too much. There's still 5 Colossi in this army, and the Roach and Hydra get absolutely incinerated.
They do, but look at the bank that Tefel still has and the units that are coming out.
Well, it's going to be all on the Ultralisks, because Lings and Roaches, I don't know if they can do too much unless... But now, even with that, Tefel just does not have the army size to compete.
No, he does not. And this should be Mana's victory here. He doesn't even need to really control his units properly as he comes marching through. Superior upgrade, superior army composition, and everything Tefel has.
very important here.
Mana doesn't have any upgrades either, and it is 1-1 versus 0-0. Photon overcharge.
There's one grab. That first Colossus falls down very quickly. Second one gets dragged forward, but it doesn't get focused down as avidly, and does manage to get away just with its life. Photon overcharge as well as those force fields, holding this unit composition at bay for now.
No more pulls for now. Still a chunk load of damage from the Colossus available.
Oh.
This is just going to be annihilation for Teffel.
Everything sits under the storms for as long as they possibly can do, and unfortunately here, these last 2 or 3 Ultralisks are going to melt. And there you go. GG, well played. Mana advances on to the Intel Extreme.
So it was a big day for Mana as he grabs the 3rd spot alongside 4GG and Jokji, 2 Korean Terrans now calling Europe their home. Cologne is coming up on February 13th, so make sure to find out more information at intelextrememasters.com. While Europe was busy this weekend, North America also has been active in the StarCraft 2 realm of things, as MLG finished Group A of their Gameon North American Invitational. Congrats to Puck and Kane as they advance to the next round, and unfortunately 2 heavy fan favorites as Cats and Huck drop out of the tournament. The event is hosted exclusively on MLG TV, where you can find all the content's history and upcoming schedule for the rest of the round of 16. Group C will be on January 23rd, and the day after will be Group D. More info can be found at gameon.gg. Now, this week marks the first week of the year where WCS regions are firing on all fronts. A few days ago, Susie Kim went to the GOM studios to watch GSL Code A and grab a few glances behind the scenes.
This is Susie with ESGN TV, and I'm standing outside of the GOM TV studios. I want to check out the GSL season opener, so come on in with me. Okay, now here I am for the second half of today's season opener for the GSL. As you guys know, Code A this season has changed its format, and it's a double elimination, so 2 people out of each group will make it onto Code S. Today at the 1 o'clock, we had Curious win 4-0, securing his spot as the first person to make it out, as for Ruin, who also won and made it out. Now, if you guys didn't catch any of the games, I suggest watching Sleep vs. Ruin. I believe it's Game 3 of the winners, where Ruin was able to show some really creative play, aka Cannon Rush, and I think it's an exciting game that you guys should definitely check out. And now we have the afternoon group. This is Group A, and we have Shine versus SOS, as well as Classic versus Gumio. And we'll just have to wait and see who makes it out of Group A onto Code S. All the games will be broadcasted on GOM XP. It's actually something wonderful that they decided to do. All the Code A games will be broadcasted for you guys to watch, so you can follow them on their YouTube channel or on Twitch TV/GSL. The GSL games will be held Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 6 p.m. Korean Standard Time this week and next week. So if you miss one, you could always watch the VODs, but try to tune in live and catch all the fun together.
As always, thanks Susie for the inside view. Follow her adventures on Twitter at Little Susie. And taking a look at the recent results, Byung and Solar won Group E. Congrats to them. And Roro and Panic advanced from Group F. Super, Fantasy, Cure, and Hurricane will have to fight their way back to Coda's spot once again. Now, Groups G and H will be played tomorrow, so make sure to watch at twitch.tv/GSL. Speaking of which, here's a little details on the upcoming StarCraft 2 schedule. Like we said, this week starts the madness of WCS. EU and NA begin tomorrow with players like Naniwa, Hero Marine, Huck, and Violet. And for EU, the action starts at 1800 CET, and America at 15 PST. So coming up next, let's take a break. When we come back, more action from the daily news. We talk about Apex 2014, as well as some of the other cool World of Tanks stuff coming up later this year. So we'll be right back after a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Tune in for our first episode of StarCraft 2 Fight Night. It's like regular StarCraft 2, but with a twist. The wheel decides who plays, and the winner has to decide if he wants to risk it all and keep playing, or walk away with the money. The action, brought to you by Artosis and Caleres, begins in a few minutes right after tonight's Daily News. And welcome back to the desk. Before the break, we mentioned that it's been a good year for Twitch TV. Last week, they posted the Retrospective online brochure that explains the numbers breakdown, the high points of the year, and a spotlight of a few of their streamers. Twitch got over 45 million unique viewers per month and averages a whopping 106 minutes watched per user per day. And according to a recent report, Twitch officially became the world's largest video game site gaming by December 2013. From a person who watched somewhere probably in the thousands of hours of free content in Twitch, a big congratulations to the team and a cheers to a great 2014. Twitch implementation into other parties like the Xbox and PlayStation has also helped grow the stream numbers of non-PC games. One of the big beneficiaries of this is the FGC, who had Apex 2014 this past weekend. The event took place in Somerset, New Jersey, with all kinds of old and new games: Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, UMVC 3, Injustice, and Pokemon XY. But what Apex is best known for is their full-on competition for every Super Smash Bros. Installation. That's right, even Project M and the classic Smash 64. The biggest Smash names like Mango, Armada, U2 King, Dr. PP, and more competed. Partnering with 4 streams in Team Spooky, Clash Tournaments, 8-Way Run, and Bifuteki, Apex 2014 was super hype. Walking through the results, Dr. PP won the Melee singles over Mewtwo King. Nairo won the Brawl singles, that is. And over in UMVC 3, Justin Wong defeated Locker. And finally, for Street Fighter 4, Sanford defeated Ricky Ortiz. You can find all the VOD's results and future information over at apex-series.com or at apex_series on Twitter. ESEA just finished their League Season 15 LAN event for CSGO. In an upset, Team iBuyPower defeated Titan to win the title. The first best of 3 was rather tense, as iBuyPower won 16-9 on Season and 16-14 on Dust 2. Titan would strike back with a win on Cage in the second best of 3, but iBuyPower would take the next map, Nuke, sending it to a nail-biting finish on Inferno, as Dazed timed the perfect shot to deliver the championship win, 16-14. An epic conclusion to the tournament and a high recommendation for any CSGO fan. For the full results and VODs, head on over to ESEA.net. And we talked earlier today about our partner GOMS GSL, but that's not the only league they have going on. Tanks Asia Season 2 semifinals will showcase PvP Super Friends against Team Efficiency this Thursday, January 24th at 2100 KST. The winners of that match will face Insidious on Friday for the championship and a chance to win up to $20,000 and the championship. Second place will take home $5,000. Tanks Asia is a separate Asian region hosted by GOM, but our partner also hosts the Korean League with their finals on Saturday, the 26th, featuring Arite, I hope I'm saying that right, and NOA, who defeated Viper a few days ago. Full info can be found at gomtv.net. And finally, the Wargaming.net League for North America World Tanks wrapped their 3rd season. And to no one's surprise, Fulcrum and Simp crushed their divisions, but there are a few surprise stories. 3 teams that joined the Gold League for the first time made it to the finals: Top Tier, #RU, and Googly Bobbers, who almost defeated Simp in group play. Sadly, River of Blood was not able to qualify, as Simple Tankers took the last spot. The finals will be held at San Francisco Folsom Street Foundry on February 8th and 9th. Admission is free, and you can RSVP via the Facebook event at facebook.com/WGLNA. For all information, you can find it at the league's home site at na.wgleague.net. And also a shout out to Clutch, who's been working hard covering the tournaments and relaying us the 411 on the entire league. And that's all we have for tonight here on the Daily News. Before we finish, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow is the semifinals for Zephyr and MVP Hot 6. Good luck to Blitz Purge and the crew. On Wednesday, we have WCS EU Challenger League Day 2, featuring players like Grubby and Bling and more. On Thursday, we have the EUW Challenger Series finals between the Fox Squad and Meet Your Makers. And on Friday, we have Wearer.com day number 2 with MMA, J-Dong, and Huck. It's all put on twitch.tv/Nathanius. And finally, on Saturday, it is the last Zotac NA Cup number 136. They announced that there's no more, so make sure to sign up if you want to play for your chance to win some money and some pride. That's a wrap for the Daily News. If you missed part of the show, make sure to log on to ESGNTV.com to catch up and see our upcoming broadcasts. From Dan Cho and the rest of the crew here at ESGN TV, thanks for watching. Fight Night is coming up next.